The tragedy that shook a community. The incident occurred in a small, close-knit community where a group of young girls gathered for what was supposed to be a joyous occasion, a Taylor Swift-themed dance class. The event was intended to be a celebration of music, movement, and the joy of youth. However, what began as a day of happiness quickly turned into an unimaginable tragedy. Details of the accident are still being pieced together, but it is known that a freak incident led to the untimely deaths of 3 young girls. The community, known for its warmth and camaraderie, was left in shock and deep mourning. Parents, siblings, friends, and neighbors found themselves grappling with the sudden loss, trying to comprehend the unthinkable. The tragedy reverberated far beyond the local area, touching hearts across the nation and beyond. A royal response. King Charles's compassionate outreach. Upon learning of the tragedy, King Charles III, who has long been known for his sensitivity to the pain and suffering of others, felt compelled to reach out to the grieving families. In the days following the incident, the king quietly arranged to meet with the families of the 3 girls. The meeting, held away from the public eye and media glare, was a deeply personal affair, reflecting the king's desire to offer solace and support in a time of profound grief. King Charles has always placed a high value on personal connections and emotional intelligence. Throughout his life, both as the Prince of Wales and now as king, he has made it a point to engage with individuals on a human level, understanding that the role of a monarch extends beyond ceremonial duties. This meeting was no exception. The king's decision to meet privately with the families was a testament to his belief in the power of empathy and the importance of being present for those in need. The private meeting, a moment of shared grief and comfort. The meeting between King Charles and the families took place in a setting designed to offer privacy and comfort. It was a moment of shared grief, where the king listened attentively to the stories of the young girls, stories of their lives, their dreams, and the immense void their loss had created. The families, still reeling from the shock of the tragedy, were able to share their pain with a monarch who was there not as a figurehead, but as a fellow human being. King Charles, known for his ability to connect with people on a deeply personal level, offered his condolences and shared in the family's sorrow. The king's words, while gentle and thoughtful, were less about offering solutions and more about being present in the moment, acknowledging the depth of the family's grief, and providing a shoulder to lean on during an unimaginable time. The impact of King Charles's gesture. For the families involved, King Charles's visit was more than a royal courtesy. It was a profound act of compassion that brought a measure of comfort in a time of overwhelming grief. In a situation where words often fall short, the king's presence and willingness to listen offered a sense of validation to the family's pain. The visit underscored the king's understanding of the power of empathy and the role it plays in healing. The king's gesture also had a ripple effect beyond the immediate families. It sent a message to the broader community and the nation that their pain was recognized, that their loss was shared, and that they were not alone in their grief. In a time of crisis, such gestures can help to bring communities together, offering a sense of solidarity and support that is crucial in the healing process. A legacy of compassion. King Charles's private meeting with the grieving families is consistent with his long-standing commitment to supporting those in need. Throughout his life, Charles has been involved in numerous charitable endeavors, many of which focus on providing support to vulnerable communities and individuals. His work with charities focused on mental health, homelessness, and youth support reflects his belief in the importance of addressing the emotional and psychological needs of society. As king, Charles has continued to prioritize compassion in his engagements, often choosing to meet with individuals and communities who are facing difficult circumstances. Whether it's visiting a community devastated by natural disaster, supporting organizations that work with victims of domestic violence, or, as in this case, offering comfort to grieving families, the king has consistently demonstrated a commitment to being a compassionate and empathetic leader. The broader significance of the king's actions. The king's decision to meet privately with the families of the 3 girls is significant not just for the immediate comfort it provided, but also for what it represents in the broader context of his reign. In a world where leaders are often judged by their public actions and policies, King Charles's gesture serves as a reminder of the importance of private acts of kindness and compassion. It highlights the role of a monarch as not only a figure of state but also a figure of personal support and empathy. This approach to leadership is particularly important in a time when many people feel disconnected from their leaders and institutions. By engaging in these private, compassionate acts, King Charles is helping to bridge that gap, showing that leadership is not just about governing but also about caring for the people one serves. The public's reaction. While the meeting was intended to be private, news of King Charles's visit to the grieving families eventually reached the public. The response was overwhelmingly positive, with many people expressing their admiration for the king's compassion and his willingness to reach out on a personal level. Social media was filled with messages of support for the families and praise for the king's gesture, with many noting that this kind of empathy is what is needed in leadership today. The public's reaction also highlighted the broader impact of the king's actions. In a time of widespread uncertainty and division, moments of compassion and humanity can have a powerful unifying effect. King Charles's visit served as a reminder of the importance of empathy and the need for leaders who are willing to engage with people on a personal level, especially in times of crisis. The role of the monarchy in times of tragedy. The British monarchy has long played a role in offering support and comfort during times of national and personal tragedy. From the Queen's visits to communities affected by disasters to Prince William and Kate's work with mental health charities, the royal family has often been at the forefront of offering empathy and support to those in need. King Charles's meeting with the families of the three girls is a continuation of this tradition, reflecting the monarchy's enduring role in providing comfort and support. In doing so, the king is reinforcing the idea that the monarchy is not just a symbolic institution, but a living, breathing entity that engages with the people it serves on a deeply personal level. Moving forward, the importance of compassionate leadership. As King Charles continues his reign, his meeting with the families of the three girls will likely be remembered as a defining moment of compassionate leadership. It is a reminder that true leadership is not just about making decisions or setting policies, but also about being present for those who are suffering. In a world that often feels increasingly disconnected, acts of empathy and compassion from leaders can have a profound impact, helping to heal wounds and bring people together. For the families of the three girls, the king's visit will undoubtedly be remembered as a moment of kindness in the midst of unimaginable grief. While nothing can bring back their lost loved ones, the knowledge that their pain was acknowledged and shared by the nation's leader offers a measure of comfort and a reminder that they are not alone in their sorrow. Conclusion. A monarch who cares. King Charles III's private meeting with the families of the three girls killed in the tragic Taylor Swift-themed dance class is a poignant example of his commitment to compassionate leadership. It highlights the importance of empathy, kindness, and personal connection in a leader, especially during times of great sorrow. As the nation continues to mourn the loss of these young lives, King Charles's gesture will be remembered as a powerful symbol of the monarchy's enduring role in offering comfort and support to those in need. In a world where leadership is often defined by power and authority, King Charles's actions remind us that true leadership is also about caring for the well-being of the people one serves. His meeting with the grieving families is a testament to the power of compassion and the important role it plays in healing and uniting communities in times of tragedy. The King, 75, met the families of the three murdered girls at Clarence House in London on Wednesday, August 21. King Charles met with the families of the three young girls who died at a Taylor Swift-themed dance class on July 29. The King, 75, hosted the families at his London residence, Clarence House, on Wednesday, August 21. It was a private event, and Buckingham Palace has not released any more details of the meeting. It followed King Charles's visit to Southport near Liverpool, where the attack happened the previous day. Three girls, B.B. King, 6, Elsie Stenkamp, 7, and Alice de Silva Aguiar, 9, died in the attack. Several other children were also injured, as were two adults who intervened. A teenage boy who was 17 at the time has been charged with their murders. After the arrest was made, disturbances and riots, much of it fueled by misinformation spread online, broke out at Southport, where the mosque came under attack, and in other cities around England. On August 20, King Charles met community leaders and some of those who were caught up in the aftermath of the attack, and the members of the emergency services who were called to cope with both the initial tragedy and the violent disturbances that followed it. The monarch also spent time with local faith leaders, including the Imam of Southport's mosque. He was referring to the community and how terrifying it must have been for us. How scary and terrifying it must have been for us and our mosque and our community, Ibrahim Hussein said afterward, reported The Telegraph. For His Majesty to take time from his heavy schedule and visit a small town such as this means a lot to us. John Hayes, a 63-year-old businessman who was among the first people on the scene of the July 29 stabbings and who was injured in the attack, told BBC News that Charles's visit was a lift for those who met him. "It was lovely to meet him. I found him quite engaging, quite easy to talk to," Hayes said, noting that it was very kind of the monarch to travel from his traditional holiday in Scotland for the outing. The day prior, on August 19, King Charles was officially welcomed to Balmoral Castle in the Scottish Highlands, where the royals gather in the summer. Shortly after the tragic events of July 29, the King, along with Kate Middleton and Prince William, issued statements expressing their sadness and shock.